My view of autism has completely changed in the last 5 years. Has yours? As a mom of a 20-year-old with autism, late diagnosis, um, I have reflected back on the things that I did well as a mom without knowing that my kid had autism, and the things I didn't do so well, and the parts or the places where things began to shift into how I view autism now. So, wherever you are on the journey of understanding autism and how we show up in the world, it's important for us to recognize that we're all kind of shedding this conditioning of seeing autism as a deficit, as something to be cured. Please do not tell me about that. Um, and I just want to, literally shake that off of me, because autism is about being. It's about how we show up in the world, and it's about light, and it's about frequency, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, um, bright, radiating kind of energy. Once you, let's say, shed a lot of the heaviness and the burdens that are placed on people with autism. So if you think about, or let's say read about too, a lot of people with autism have similar symptoms or traits as someone with PTSD or CPTSD complex, right? And that's because of the world we live in. So many people with autism face bullying, and even if it's not outright bullying, there's just always this underlying, judgment, I would say, of like, you just don't get it, do you? And thankfully, people with autism don't get it, because that's what's changing the world. That's what's changing our education systems, our healthcare systems, all of these systems. They all need to, and I believe are, crumbling and deteriorating and basically falling apart. And if you're a person with autism, then you know how little it serves you, how disappointing it's been, and how behind the times they are. Basically, I believe that people with autism are existing in this world in their very essence, just being who they are, causes these kinds of old world systems that are full of, um, let's say, racism, classism, hierarchies of all kinds, right? Comparisons, um, haves and have nots, that kind of thing. Everything that is based on that system, and it has to do with finances and access and equity and all, equality, and all of those things, they are crumbling. Those systems are crumbling because they don't have a strong foundation. They're crumbling because they're not based on truth. If you know someone with autism, you know their sense of justice. You know their sense of right and wrong, and their inner drive, their integrity, their inner character, to follow their heart. You must know that. And it's really that drive, that knowing, that being, more so, that is on an energy level, that frequency is just like a pure tone. And that pure tone is emanating around that person, and is, in many cases, lifting up lifting up, elevating through frequency. And you may say, okay, well, for example, as a mom, have we had our struggles? Have we had our meltdowns? Yes. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. But here's the more important thing. If you see your child, let's in my case, if you see your child as your teacher, which is what happened for me, I think when they were about 15, I realized, and this is not on them, it just took me 15 years to figure it out. I realized that when I listen to my kid, it usually gets better. When I listen to their ideas, it works. When I listen to how they view the world, I'm the one who's learning. When I listen to when they explain something to me, I say, yes, now I understand. So really the whole first 15 years when I wasn't listening to them, that's when we got into trouble. That's where we got into conflicts, but nervous system dysregulation and all these things. And it was when I was fully attuned to them that I could step into a place of flow, a place of light, and I just didn't know what I didn't know, right? And now when we come across something that's challenging, of course, I have this like, well, this is the way the world works, or this is how it should be done, or this is how I would do it. And I have to consciously put those aside and ask myself, am I open to hear what my kid is saying? Am I open to hear the way autism would solve this problem, the way autism would approach this challenge? And when I do that, what happens is there's a lot less meltdowns. We're on the same page a lot more. We have more resonance in our relationship. And quite frankly, I'm the one who's learning. I'm the one who's changing. And I'll never forget one time there was, let's say, a meltdown. My kid was on their bed. And I don't know if you're like this too, but meltdowns would trigger me. So I felt out of control. So I wanted to make them stop as fast as possible. And I remember this one specific time where I said to myself, I come first. I am going to sit here at the end of the bed and I'm not going to help my kid. I am way too dysregulated to be of assistance to anyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to breathe. And I wasn't talking. I wasn't, telling my kid what's going to happen. This was completely new for them. They didn't know that this was not my behavior in the past, right? And so I said, no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to regulate myself. Because I felt like my heart was coming out of my chest. And that is because I have so much love and care as a mom that to see your own child distressed is distressing. And that's part of love, right? But not knowing what to do, your love can still, let's say, have side effects where there's problems, right? So if you love your kids so much, then you start saying, well, stop crying or something like that. That's obviously not helpful. So for this first time, I sat there and I regulated myself through breath. I remember very consciously, I had my feet on the carpet, but I was concentrating on my feet touching the carpet, on my body, like sitting on the bed, feeling heavy in the bed. And this like somatic practices, which I'm sure you're very aware of, to keep me in my body, to keep me grounded, to regulate myself. And of course, my kid was still having a meltdown. And I was, I was sitting at the end of the bed, but I was relatively close. And something really magical, massive happened, they calmed themselves down. They calmed themselves down in their own time, in their own way, with their own strategies. And I did absolutely no intervention. And I had heard about co-regulation. I knew what co-regulation was in my head, but I hadn't experienced it like this. And when I started doing this, because then of course it worked, so then I'm going to do it again. When I started doing this, I said to myself, how long did it take me to put myself first? I always thought it was wrong. I always thought it was wrong as a mom to put myself first, to do what I needed to regulate my own body. I thought I needed to focus on my kid. And if you're listening to this and this is really hitting home for you, just know the first love is the love you have for yourself. And we have to show up for ourselves with that first love for ourselves. And it's not selfish at all. It's the most precious gift that you can give to everyone around you. And it works miracles. It works magic. It's so massive, the shift that you can have when you love yourself. And I'm not saying that's an easy thing or a natural thing, but I just want you to know how important it is and what a massive change in my life it was when that moment happened and I decided to breathe and put myself first. And it exactly in the distress, self-love was the answer. And if you go back to what I said earlier, you might say in the middle of a meltdown, like, what can my kid teach me? But that's what my kid taught me. And it took me a really long time to learn it. But it's so precious and I can't unlearn it. It's with me for the rest of my days. Self-love is everything. And if you're open to it, people with autism can teach you so much. So much. I think it's more important for us to reflect either on our past experiences and also to be open to, let's say, videos and conversations like this one about sharing. And so you can go ahead and share also a moment or something special that someone with autism has taught you, because that's what we're here for. And when you choose self-love, like I chose self-love in that moment, and it changes your life and it changes the lives of the people around you. That's how we change the world. That's how we do it. So I'm so glad you're here. If you feel like this video really resonates with you, go ahead and share it with someone else. And at the end of every video, I just want to share my website is vibranthearts.ca, and I offer the Circle of One experience, which closes the gap between your current reality and living a life with your whole complete self. So you're welcome to check that out.